Good afternoon, Patriots. This is the American Vision broadcast on the TLBTV network and brought to you by the Liberty Beacon Project. I'm your host, Bill Muckler, and I'm broadcasting from my home studio in Cocoa, Florida. I know out there you're wondering what's going to happen about our Social Security, because the last time I talked to you, I explained how the Social Security program is really a Ponzi scheme. And it was a Ponzi scheme designed by politicians back in 1935 to have a lot of people put a lot of money into the federal government, into the Treasury, and knowing full well that no one would be able to ever take that money out. But they miscalculated on that, and I explained that all to you before. So you know the story, the background behind it. So I want to just give you a little bit of a refresher. When I talked to you before, I talked about the 80-20 rule. And I told you that 20% of the people pay 80% of the taxes. That's mathematically sound. That's indisputable. You cannot argue with that. That's the numbers. Now, I know we hear them talk about, oh, the top 1% are making, you got all the money and they're stealing all the money from the poor people and we got to soak the rich and all that. The real deal is this: 80% of the people pay 20% of the taxes and 20% of the people pay 80% of the taxes. Mathematically, that's true. You can't dispute that. So does that sound like the poor people are really getting taken advantage of by the rich people? Well, I guess it depends. Are the poor people the 20% that are paying the 80% of the taxes? No, that can't be. You already figured that one out. I can't change your mind on that one. So here's the deal. Ownership. When our founding fathers wrote the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution, they declared independence. They declared the American spirit. I'm the one who talks about that all the time. I never hear anybody else talk about our American spirit. And I also talk about they declared ownership for us. They said we could own property. See, that wasn't available before. People couldn't own their own property. The king owned it. And in the colonies, everything was governed by the king. And the king levied the taxes. The people had no representation. And people wanted to have ownership, and they wanted to be free. And they wanted to govern themselves. And that's what I'm all about. I'm all about helping you to learn how to govern yourselves. So when I talk about ownership, I'm not just talking about your house and your car and your trinkets and toys and T-shirts and stuff like that. I'm talking about the thing that you really own the most, your body and soul. That's what you own. And your mind, here, up here, you own what's in here. And what's in there is talent. And in this body of yours, you can toil, you can work. And with your mind and your body, you have your talent and toil, and you live in a time. We live in time. So, 1 second, 2 seconds, I'm on here for what, 30 minutes, 60 minutes or something like that? Time. So you own your time, your toil, and your talent. Your talent is up here. You own that. It's yours. Nobody can take that away from you. That was given to you by your Creator. Your Creator gave you your time, your talent, and your ability to work, your toil. The federal government is stealing that from us. They're taking that away from us. And they do it with these code words. Revenue neutral, they give us all this stuff. Social Security Administration. There's nothing secure about it. There is a lot that's social about it. It's socialism is what it is. And so I explained to you about the Great Ponzi Scheme that was created to defraud us of our money, take our money away from us. We had everybody paying in and nobody taking out back in 1937 when the first guy, Atkinson, got his lump sum payment of 17 cents. And right now, we ain't getting a whole lot more than 17 cents right now with inflation being what it is. The value of the dollar and purchasing power is such that, that's about what we're getting. So I told you about how Social Security is bankrupt. I told you everything is wrong about how we're taxed on Social Security when we earn it, and we're taxed on it when they pay it to us. We're taxed and taxed and taxed 2 and 3 times on everything we have, and yet we don't own our Social Security. It's not in a lockbox for us. Al Gore lied to us about that. The politicians have lied to us about that. We don't own that money. It's set up in an account, yeah, but we don't have it, and we ain't going to get it because they're going bankrupt. And the only way we're going to get it is if the Fed borrows more money, creates more money out of thin air to lend to the United States of America, to our Treasury, or they're going to raise the percentages on FICA, or they're going to increase the amount of years it takes before we can get our benefits. And what the plans are now is to increase it from, it was 65, now 66, go up to 68, and then up to 70. But they'll do it gradually, so it won't hurt too much when it's happening. When they're stabbing that knife, and it's not going to hurt too much until it gets all the way up to the hilt. Boom, there it is. That's what's happening. And then they're going to raise it, they're saying 3.3%. So go up from 15.3 to 18.6%. But you won't notice it because you're only going to be paying 1.65% extra, which you'll never notice. You'll never miss because it's all okay. You won't miss that. And then we'll get up to 20%, and then you'll be paying 10%, and that's okay because it'll work because it's going to be for the greater good. It's the right thing to do because we got all these people now that are collecting money, and we don't have enough money coming in because we're already spending more than $100 billion a year. That's how much we're losing, in addition to the $65 billion a year plus that we're paying for the 1,400 Social Security offices that the federal government operates. Boy, talk about a boondoggle that is. But they all vote for the political establishment, don't they? Yeah, think about that a little bit. Maybe we shouldn't vote for the political establishment. So we're double taxed. We're paying all this money in. We don't know if we'll ever get anything out. Wait a minute. I'm not going to get my Social Security out. I'm ruined because I'm counting on that for my retirement. Well, let me tell you, folks, you need to make different plans. Either that or let's implement the 2020 vision. How convenient is that? Here's Bill Muckler's book, The 2020 Vision, and Bill Muckler has in his book a chapter on Social Security, here it is right here, and Medicare, which solves the problem. And guess what I do for you? You're not going to believe this. You ever hear that Meatloaf song, I want my money back? I want to give you your money back. That's the 2020 plan. I want to give you your money back. And when I give you your money back, you're going to say, wow, I never thought of that, because I'm the guy who's been thinking about these things for the last 35 years or so, and I'm a problem solver. I'm a futurist. That's my profession. That's what I've done all my life. So I wrote the book, and when I wrote the book, I listed all the problems, and one of the problems, and this is on chapter 8, and that could be chapter 1, if you wanted to prioritize things for seniors, or you could put it on chapter 14 if you wanted to prioritize it for kids that are just starting out in the second grade. But all these problems are equally important. They're equally disastrous for our country. So when I said, I'm going to give you your money back, how am I going to give you your money back? Well, remember when I did the video and I called it, your tax rate should be 0. I meant that your tax rate should be 0. And I wrote that, it's all in here. Your tax rate should be 0. And I explain how it works. I give you all the math on it. I make it as simple as possible. I wrote it in dialogue form where I have people discussing this just like you and I would discuss if we were sitting in a sports bar and having a beer, or if we're, you're visiting here and we're sitting in the living room or family room and having a cocktail or an iced tea. And we were just talking about things. So that's the way the book is written. And oh, by the way, we're working on an audio book now because a lot of people said they wanted audio books. I hope somebody buys them because it's going to cost me a lot of money to do this. But in any case, the guys are doing are really talented. I'm blessed to have such good friends. Let's get back to, and before I forget, don't watch any nonsense football league games this weekend or any other weekend for the rest of your lives, whether it's on Thursday, Sunday, or Monday night. Don't watch any nonsense football league games. I have to get my commercial in, right? I got my book commercial in, and I get my veterans commercial in. See, I'm more my, got my Marine Corps shirt on today. I'm all about doing everything I can for the vets, helping the vets. And I'm a vet, and I don't look for people to help me. I'm looking to help other people, especially our vets, because they're the guys who earned it. So here you are. You work for you put your time in, put your toil in, you use your talent, you made your money, and the government took it away from you. They taxed it away from you and your Social Security. If you remember when I talked about the Great American Ponzi Scheme, they took your money. So how am I going to give this back to you? Well, okay. In the 2020 tax plan, if you're an average household and you're making the average, the mean household income of about $50,000 a year, and I'm just using round numbers, folks. Don't get all worked up if you think it's should have some change attached to it. But let's say you make $50,000 a year. Under my plan, your total labor cost is really $65,000 a year or something like that. It could be a little more, a little bit less, but for the average person, it's about $65,000 a year. But you only bring home $35,000 a year because you have your federal and state and local income taxes taken out of that. If you pay state or local taxes, a lot of people do. And you have unemployment compensation, that's not taken out. You don't see that, but it's paid for. It's part of your labor cost. And you have your FICA, you have everything. All this stuff is part of your labor cost. And so when you work and you dedicate your time and talent and toil to an endeavor or an enterprise, whether you're working for somebody else, for an employer or a corporation, or if you're working for yourself, you're an independent contractor, you're paying, your labor cost is 15.3% of every dollar that you make. So that $50,000 you make a year, 15.3% of that is taxed under this scam called FICA, which is a Great American Ponzi Scheme. And that money's supposed to go into the lockbox that was never created, it was never intended to be. And eventually you're supposed to get some money back. So you pay in roughly $300,000 over a lifetime. That's the average. I talked to you about that before. And you're lucky if you get back, like me, I'm probably going to get back, I don't know, maybe half that amount. I don't know, something like that. But if I had invested that money in something, very safe and conservative, something of my choosing, I could have had a little bit of risk early in life, a little bit conservative later on in life. We're all smart enough to know how to do that. And there's a lot of smart people out here that can help us do that. Financial advisors, there's a bunch of great ones that can do that. The federal government doesn't know how to do that. They ain't doing that for us. So what they're doing is they're taking in roughly $300,000 from each person, and they're paying out a hell of a lot less than that, where if you'd invested it yourself, it'd be worth $1.3 million. So they stole $1 million from you. And I talked about that in the other video. If you want to go back and look at it, I call it the Great American Ponzi Scheme. You'll find out that you lost $1 million. The federal government, the political establishment, your heroes, the people you adore, guys like FDR, the great American crooks stole $1 million from you because you earned that, because you own your time, toil, and talent, and you own that $1.3 million, but they took it away from you. You never even had a chance to look at it. You never had a chance to even think about it. That's how slick they are. Okay, so how are you going to get your money back? Very simple. In the 2020 tax plan, where your tax is zero, you're not only taking home your $50,000 a year, but you're taking home your true labor cost, which is $65,000 a year to your employer, or if you're self-employed, to yourself, because you're paying those taxes. So I don't know what happened there, but something happened. Somebody must have broke in on me. Please bear with me. I was kind of surprised with all that. So you get that $65,000. That's all your money. Now, I haven't gone into what's going to happen with that money, because we have a plan. The 2020 vision plan is that you would take 20% of that money and you would put it into your own savings account. So you would own your money. The money that you made, you would own yourself. The federal government wouldn't own that money. So that difference between taking home $35,000 a year now and taking home $65,000 under the 2020 vision plan, at $30,000 extra, you're taking home the whole $65,000. You own every bit of that. And what we're doing is set up accounts for you that you own yourself, savings accounts that you can put in money into your retirement. That's part of it, and part of that money. So we're talking 20% of $65,000. We're talking about $13,000 a year. Some of that money goes into your retirement account. Some of it goes into your unemployment account or your employment account. If you decide that you want to change jobs, or if you get laid off or fired or something like that, you got money that you can rely on. And then money for your health insurance, and then you pay for your own health insurance that way, because you want to own all that. And then if you don't use up that unemployment money, or you don't use up that health insurance money because you took care of yourself, that's all your money. You own it. And when you go to retire, whether you're 60 or 65 or 70 or 75, whenever it is, it's all your money. And if you never tap into it because you don't need to it, you can give it to your kids or your grandkids in your inheritance. It's your money, but you can't do that with Social Security. When my late wife passed away back in 2009, she paid in all her life. And I had to jump through hoops and go, I don't know how many times I had to drive into St. Augustine and go to the office and talk to people and give them all kinds of death certificates and all kinds of stuff. And they gave me $245. I got a check $245, which they taxed me on too. I got taxed on that, just like I'm getting taxed on my Social Security right now. So what's happening then is, in the American Vision Plan, and it's all spelled out in this book, and it's all spelled out very simply. It's easy to read, easy to understand. When people read, they say, wow, why couldn't the politicians come up with this? They talk about 435 people working for months and months trying to solve a simple problem. They can't agree on anything because they don't know how to do anything. So if you're 65 or above, and you're on Social Security, you're going to keep getting your Social Security check. You're on Social Security right now. You're going to get your Social Security check every month. You're going to get your full benefits plus, guess what? 20%. Don't you love this number, 20%? That's where all this 2020s are all about, 20%. So let's say you're getting $1,000 a month, Social Security benefits. That's about average, I guess. You're going to get $1,200. Yeah, I know. Unless you really are having a hard struggling with math, you're going to say, hey, I think $1,200 a month is going to go a little bit further than $1,000 a month. So, Bill, I'm liking your deal. Will this work? Yes, it will work. It absolutely will work. I did the numbers. I know what I'm talking about. I got it all down. It's all in the book. You can see it in the book. It's all in there. I'm telling you right now, I worked it all out. And when you read the book and you see the math, you say, yeah, that'll work. So if you're 65 or over and you're on Social Security, you will get your Social Security, your full Social Security, and you're not going to have to pay any taxes on it because your tax rate is zero. So now you're even keeping more than that. Before, with the $1,000 you're making, you're probably only keeping somewhere around $850 or $900. I'll give them the benefit of that. Let's say you're keeping $900. Now you're going to be keeping $1,200. So now you're getting $300 a month more. That's $3,600 a year more that you have. Plus, you're not paying taxes on a lot of things, like real estate tax. Your house is probably paid for or will be paid for soon. You don't have to pay that out. So, and you don't have to pay tax on food. So, your spending power is getting so much greater, so you can really enjoy your golden years, your later years in life. And that's the whole idea, because the worst thing about being old like me is you keep wondering what's going to run out first, my time or my money. And I want to make sure my money doesn't run out before my time runs out, because I don't want to live under the bridge. But the federal government doesn't think too much of seniors because they know we're going to be gone soon, so let them live under the bridge. Who cares? So that's the deal. But there's more to this, because we still got the Medicare part. You say, hey, what about my health insurance? What about my Medicare? Everybody over 65 is going to get Medicare. And when you get into my chapter on healthcare, you'll find out how much better that's going to be, because you're not going to have to jump through all these hoops and go through all this crap. And I shouldn't say that. And we're going to cut out all the fraud, because that's easy to cut out. When you cut out the bureaucracy, you cut out the fraud. And so what happens then is, right now, you end up paying about $100 a month, and it's actually a little bit more now. It was a little bit less a few years ago. But if you're on Medicare, Part B like I am, Part A is free. That's hospitalization. Part B is the physicians and all that kind of stuff. They deduct about $100 a month from you. I didn't sign up for this until long after I was 75. I guess I was, 65. I guess I was 74. They penalized me for every month I didn't pay, and even though I didn't take a penny out. And so now I pay like $250. They deduct $250 a month from me, and that keeps going up and up, because I didn't pay in before, but I never took anything out either, so that's the way the government does things. You think these bureaucrats are spending time, playing gin or something like that when they're working on these things? No, they're working on how to scam us. They're working on how to take our money away from us. So then you get that $100 a month. So now instead of the $1,200, you're getting $1,300, and then you have to pay. Part D is the pharmaceutical part of it, your meds, your prescriptions, whatever you want to call them. And that costs about $50 a month that they take out. So we're going to give you that too. So now you're up to, $1,000, up to $1,200, up to $1,300, up to $1,350. But since you're not paying taxes on all that stuff, you're getting about $1,500 a month in purchasing power. That's the 2020 vision for seniors. You're not going to lose your Social Security. In fact, instead of getting $1,000 a month, you're going to get $1,500 a month. That's $500 a month. That's $6,000 a year, and a lot less tax burden to boot. Now you say, well, wait a minute. I know some people, and I know some people, and that's unfortunate. They're not making $1,000 a month on Social Security. They're only making like $670 or $720 or something like that. What about them? They're really hurting. 2020 plan takes everybody that's below 1,000 and brings them up to 1,000. Now, if you're at 990, you're going to get a 20% increase up to like 1,190 or something like that. But everybody is going to be brought up to at least $1,000 and or more. So that's the deal. So I'm not taking your Social Security away from you. Don't panic, seniors. Don't panic. I wouldn't do that to you. You earned it. because you put in your time, your toil, and your talent into making this country great, making this an exceptional nation. You earned it and you deserve it. It's yours. You own it, and you'll own this now. Say, well, okay, now what about all the guys that are younger than 65 and gals that are under 65? They're all beautiful, aren't they? Like my lovely Laney and my daughters and granddaughters and great-granddaughter. All beautiful. So what are we going to do about those? So what I did is I worked this out. I spent some time on this, calculated it all out. Very simple. If you're 50 years old to 65 years old, and this is all in the book, you just read it in the book. It's all worked out, all in chapter 8 in the book. You have an option. You can continue to pay in your 15.3% into Social Security until you're 65, and then you'll receive the same benefits that the guys and gals that are in there now will get. So you get that. You have that option. You can do that. But that 15.3% is not going to be taken, is going to go to the federal government. It's going to be put into a special account for you. So that'll be your account. It's going to be your money. You'll own it. And so you're still in the Social Security program, and you will get all your money, all your benefits back. You'll get everything that I just explained before. Everything that we talked about before, going from 1,000 up to 1,500 and having this tremendous Medicare plan that doesn't cost you a penny. It's all there for you. So you can do that. Or you have an option. You say, hey, I really want to own my own money, and I'm working now, and I want to get in on the new plan whereby I'm going to put money in my own retirement account, my own health account, my own savings account, my own employment account. It's all spelled out in the book. I want to do that instead because I think I can do it better than the federal government can do it. And I would rather be on my own and do it. So, Bill, what about the money I already put in? I've been working since I've been 20 years old, and now I'm 50. I've been working for 30 years. Or maybe you're 55. I've been working for 35 or 40 years. What about all that money I put in? Guess what? The 2020 Vision Plan gives you every penny back. We're going to give you your money back. We know how much money was put in because I know I send off for these reports and I get the reports. I study all this stuff. I analyze everything. I figured it all out. And I know how much I put in and how much I'm getting out. I've got all this. I've been working on this. It's all part of my research. I've been my own experiment, so to say. And I know every penny I put in ever since I started working and getting a paycheck when I was 14 years old, when I was working out in Lake Wawanoka, hauling the trash and the honey buckets and fixing the roads and pitchforking the manure. All those things I did. I got paid, and I had to pay Social Security on all that stuff. And all my jobs when I was a pea picker in college, I worked a summer up in Wisconsin, and they had 65 cents an hour, and they took out my Social Security. It's all documented. They have all that information for you. They keep records on that stuff. It's just they got the numbers in the system. They just ain't got the money in the system. They got the numbers but no money. So we're going to give you your money back. Now, we're not going to give it back to you in one lump sum because that would really be a hardship on the country. And you wouldn't have been eligible for it anyway until you're 65, and you wouldn't have gotten it in a lump sum when you're 65 either. So what we'll do is we'll take that money. Let's say you already put $100,000 in, and you got, say, 10 years ago before you're 65, and you're going to retire. I'm just an example, folks. I've got all worked out in here at all these different levels. So you're going to get $10,000 a year for 10 years. It's going to go into your savings account, your retirement account, that then you can start taking out as you wish, as much as you want or as little as you want, whenever you want, tax-free. And if you don't take it all out, You can leave it to your kids or grandkids, or to your favorite charity, or to the Humane Society, or whoever you want to leave it to. You can do that. Hey, don't put money in your will to politicians. Please don't do that. Or if you do, don't tell me, because you'll break my heart. So anyway, now we got everybody covered from 50 to 65, and everybody from 65 on up to 165, all covered. So now we say, well, wait a minute, what about the guys that and gals that aren't 50 yet? They're 50 or below, you know, and maybe they're starting out working at a fast food place at 15, and they're going to work until 65. They're on their own, so to say. When I say they're on their own, they are on their own because they own their own money. Now they own their own money. Got it? And so they're not going to be paying any money into Social Security. Now, if they already paid some in, they're going to get that back. They're going to get a refund on that. Just like the guys from 50 to 65, the guys and gals from 50 to 65 get a full total refund. Anybody under 50 is going to get a total refund. But out of their money that's not taxed anymore, they're going to get that money. That money is going to be put in their savings account or their retirement account. I got it all broken down where you'll have an account for your wages, and then you'll have an account for your retirement. You'll have an account for your health insurance. You'll have an account for your unemployment insurance, and you'll have a savings account that you can put extra money in. But all it's your own money. It's all yours. The government can never touch it. They can never take it away from you. They can never tax it. They can't do anything to it. They can't touch it. It's yours. You own it. And that's what this is all about. Our country is all about owning. The 2020 vision is all about ownership. It's yours. You have to own it yourself in order to be free. If you can't own your own money, you're not free. And didn't our founding fathers declare independence and freedom for us? That's what it's all about. That's what I'm doing for you. So if you're, say, between whatever age you start working, 10 or 15 or 20 and 50, you're going to get a refund of every penny you put in. Every dollar you put in is going to go into your account, and it'll be put in gradually over the years. So you'll get every bit of that money. And then what's going to happen is you're going to be putting money in. You're working now. You're getting that 65,000 a year, and maybe if you're young and you're not quite up to that level yet, you're getting that full amount in. That money is going to be in your account, and the refund is going to go into that account, and that's going to be your money. So when you're 65 and you're ready to retire, or if you're ready to retire when you're 70 or 72 or whatever it is, you tap into that because it's all your own money. It's never going to be penalized. It's never going to be taxed. It's going to be your money. It's all going to be about ownership, because I want you to own your time, toil, and talent. And the result of your time, toil, and talent is your money. Everything that you work for, what you own, your money, your accounts, your investments, your savings, your spending money. It's all yours. We don't want the government to take it anymore. You see, they've got this stranglehold on us. They got a stranglehold on us that says, we own your money, so we own you. And I don't want them to own you. I want you to own yourself. That's yours. Your Creator gave that to you. That's yours. So that's the way Social Security works. If you're on Social Security, you keep it, plus you get roughly a 50% increase in your take-home and your spending power, whatever you want to call it. If you're between 50 and 65, you have an option of either getting a full refund on everything you paid in, or you can go into the plan. You'll get the same benefits that those that are already in it. They're 65 are in it. And if you're under 50, you get a full refund, and you get to invest your own money. So that $300,000 that would have been taken from you, for all you guys under 50, all you gals under 50 that are going to pay in that $300,000, You're now going to get your 1.3 million. You're going to get your $1 million that the government would have stolen from you. So this is avoidance. I'm going to let you avoid having the government steal your $1 million away from you. You're going to get it. It's going to be yours. And if you don't spend it, you can will it to your kids, or you can be like my late wife. All that money she put in, if she'd have had the 2020 vision, she'd have had some money in. I could have got it. I didn't think about that. I thought, hey, I would have got that money because it was hers, and it would have gone to me. Or we could have put it in for our kids or grandkids for a college fund or something like that. You see what I mean? Or we could have given it, made a donation to Catholic charities, or whoever you want to give your money to, hurricane relief. That's the point of it. We're in fear of the federal government. We're in fear of the IRS. We're in fear of what's going to happen to us because we're not free. I want us to be free, and when you're free, you own yourself and all your property and your money, your investments, your savings, and everything else. Okay, have you got that? Better get this. Better get it and read it, because that's what's going to protect you. Knowledge is power, and all the knowledge is in here. Don't listen to the politicians, folks. Gosh darn it, don't pay any attention to them. They're lying to you. And this great tax code that Trump and the Congress is working on, that the Democrats are telling everybody is horrible, and it's going to cost the middle class all their money, and their money's going to go into the wicked rich guys who are going to buy villas in the Alps with it and all that kind of stuff. Don't pay attention to that. The tax code we have now with this FICA fiasco, Social Security thing and everything is just god awful. It's a disaster, and it's killing America. That's why we got $20 trillion in debt, or part of the $20 trillion in debt, which is going to be a lot more in a few more years. Remember when I said the flat tax plan was a heck of a lot better than this new tax plan they're coming up with, which is a lot better than the one we're suffering under right now. And the fair tax plan I thought was even far superior to the flat tax plan. And I know the 2020 vision plan is far superior to all of them, far superior. And it's so obvious, because the reason why it's far superior, folks, is because you get to own your own money. And when you own your own money, you can do with it whatever you want, and you're free. You're free. You don't have to worry about penalties. You don't have to worry about taxes. You don't have to worry about keeping receipts and making out forms and sending in taxes every year and worrying about deductions and all that kind of stuff. All that's a scam. Be free. And remember what I told you, a small, limited government that's close to home is best. So you should be able to govern yourself. You don't need the government to regulate you. You can regulate yourself. You don't need the government to tax you and tell you that they're going to give you a little bit back. You can manage your own money. You're capable of doing that. You have that ability because God gave you a mind. He gave you talent. He gave you time, and he gave you ability to work, to toil, to improve your lot in life, to improve everything, everything for yourself and your kids and your grandkids. It's all up to you. If you want to be free, you'll follow the 2020 vision. Because where there is no vision, the people perish. And when America has no vision, the United States perishes. So, boys and girls, think about this, work it all out, get the book, read the book, learn about all this stuff. Remember, I got this new audio book coming out soon, so you can even listen to it in the car. You won't have to read. So for all those people who say, I don't know how to read, I can't read your book because I don't know how to read, you'll be able to listen to it like that. And it's going to be fantastic. It's going to be all the different characters discussing this stuff and explaining it to you, probably a lot better than right now. So remember, God bless you and God save our America, because America needs him now more than ever before, and you need him now more than ever before. And remember, it's your money. You keep it. You do with whatever you want with it. Forget about the government owning you and owning your money. Own yourself. God bless, boys and girls. Have a wonderful week. Come back and see me again. We're going to have some great guests on here so you can see some other people just besides me. We got them all lined up.